what was your mentality before you met Alex when it came to marriage?
It's going to be really weird if I give a totally different answer right now than I did before.
Okay,
It's like totally opposite.
Totally different.
What? Is he lying?
Yeah, I don't know.
Catch him in a lie.
I don't remember what he said, honestly. So.
Good.
Okay, let me
Good.
think. Okay, mentality before I met her. I always had a desire to be married young. I never wanted to wait too long. Also, my parents were both married young. So since they were married young, I kind of wanted to beat them to the altar. But that didn't happen.
I knew I definitely didn't want to wait until I was older to get married. Like I said, both my parents were married young, and I wanted to be married young as well. I wasn't turning anybody down. I definitely kept my options open. Just definitely was not specifically looking for anyone, but I wanted to see where friendships grew and where things led, that kind of thing, for sure.
I was always thinking about getting married, but yeah, I didn't have a lot of friends that really my age that were girls. The Patrick started coming more regularly. When she kind of caught my eye,
We visited Grace and Truth like years before we actually started coming consistently, like 2 years before. I had met Kameron loosely and talked to him just a few times in big conversations. Then we came back this last time, I think it was 2014, March, that Easter when we first started coming consistently. And I would talk to a few people, mostly the girls at first. And then I was like, I can't talk to him. He's a pastor's kid. That can't happen. No, basically my thoughts.
A little intimidated.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah. I wanted to get married, but I didn't want to rush it. I was only 17 at the time, so it wasn't anything that I was looking specifically for. But it was nice to have friends, and I did make a lot of friends, but then Kameron more specifically. Yeah. My first memory was when we were still at the coffee shop. Because I walked in one Sunday, and you were up there playing the guitar.
Right.
First time I saw Kameron, the church was still meeting at the coffee shop. And I remember walking in, sitting down. We only went 2 or 3 times then. I sat down and I said, I kind of marked it in my head. He was kind of cute. And so I was talking to my mom after about everybody at church, and I mentioned Kameron. She goes, "Yeah, he's a pastor's son. He's 20." I was like, "Oh, never mind. He's only too old for me." I was 15 at the time. So yeah.
I remember seeing her when the church was meeting back at the country club. First time I remember seeing her with her family. And then after that it was at church when her family started attending. And then the first time we really hung out was when we went to the movies to see Guardians of the Galaxy. She followed us there. Why should I say that? That sounds weird.
But then when I first met you, our first thing I remember, our first actual encounter was at Guardians of the Galaxy. We went to go see it.
Right.
Okay.
Are we going to explain this whole story?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, do you want me? Okay, you can start if you want. That's fine.
If you want to start, that's fine.
Well, no. Guardians of the Galaxy came out. I went to the midnight showing, of course. Saw it, loved it. Friends from church hadn't seen it yet, so that Sunday after church, a group of us got together to go see it.
I overheard, or my sister overheard them talking about it. Lexi overheard them talking about it. And I knew she wanted to go. So I was like, okay, we'll take a chance here. I knew which theater they were going to be going to because it's the only one in the area. And so we had 3 different movie times to choose from. So me and Lexi, trying to figure out which one would be most likely to pick the one.
Apparently she overheard from someone that it was happening. I didn't know that. So I show up at the theater, and I go to the theater, get our seats, come back, get popcorn, and there she walks in. I'm like, whoa, she's here. That's awesome. What a coincidence.
Obviously that ended up being the right one because we walked in, and Kameron and both of his parents were standing at the counter. I was just inside, I was just yes. And then so we walk in the theater, Michael's dad was like, oh, what a coincidence. I was like, oh yeah, he knows what's going on. Oh gosh. Because I remember they're like, oh, what a surprise. I was like, yeah.
Surprise, surprise, yeah.
So we watched the movie, and afterwards, they talked about going somewhere to eat. I was like, oh, I really kind of hope they invite us. And then Michael's dad did. And then we spent the whole night kind of talking and getting to know each other. And it was really nice. And then I just remember we were sitting down for dinner. And I look over at you. You were about to eat your food. And you took this ginormous bite. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is insane. It was the biggest bite. It was so gross. But it was hilarious because he was just like, this is so awesome. And it was... Oh gosh.
That's pretty good.
So, like, half a waffle and an entire piece of chicken in your mouth at one time, and I was just like, yeah.
So you wouldn't think that would be a very good first impression, but I guess it
worked.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I just remember I don't know.
So you followed us there, basically.
Pretty much.
Much later I learned she had overheard it. She kind of planned the whole thing so she could hang out with me. That's great. That was good. Yeah, that was definitely the first time I remember really
Yeah.
talking to you and hanging out.
I sound like a crazy person when I tell that story. That's when Michael's dad invited us to do the film project. The president is going to sign a new executive order. And after months of deliberating, the White House has decided that can wait no longer.
I remember going and us, doing the whole script thing and writing it that night late, and then the next day shooting it, doing like the up at the church and shooting all your stuff.
I remember being just terrified. I was so terrified.
You did good though. You did.
I remember being terrified, and then I remember, like, we were just sitting around, and I remember you, because you were the main person. I just remember looking at what you were wearing, I was like, that looks terrible. I'm gonna be perspective on all of this.
Apparently. I don't know why you are with me. You think I'm a terrible person, you think I have a terrible fashion sense, you don't like the way I eat, all this stuff.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Hey, I don't care. You're gonna have to put up with it. And that's when we exchanged phone numbers.
Yes, yeah. I think Kameron liked me. Like I said, I think it was around Thanksgiving. We had been texting for a while, and he was at a Thanksgiving get-together kind of thing.
So we began texting a lot, and at Thanksgiving she went out of town up to Georgia with her family, and I didn't like that. I was missing her a lot, and I didn't really realize how much I liked her really until then. Started missing her, texting her a lot, talking on the phone with her, and so it was kind of during that time that I realized, I wanted to pursue a more serious relationship with her.
And I asked him if he was having a good time, and he said, well, I'd have a better time if you were here. And it was really sweet, and that's kind of when me and Kameron started, a little while after that, me and Kameron started talking more and more, and then around Thanksgiving, my family went out of town. And then at Christmas time, his family went out of town. And I missed him a lot during that time. I think that's kind of when I realized that I definitely liked him. I definitely had feelings for him, because obviously you shouldn't miss someone that much you don't want to hang out with.
In the month after that, in December, is when I confronted my parents to talk to them and asked them if I could have permission to start recording her. They wanted to get to know her a little bit better, so we kind of hung out more. Her family came over to our house and had dinner, and I would go over there and have dinner with them. And then a few months later in March, basically my parents said, okay, if you're ready to start the courtship, we'll let you begin that. So I talked to her dad, and he also gave me his permission, and that's when we kind of announced it to the whole church that we were going to begin our courtship, which was really cool to have everyone there for that.
I do remember though us going out of town on opposite holidays, and we didn't get to spend either Thanksgiving or Christmas with each other.
Yeah.
It was so disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
In our courtship, I think it was about 6 months in, where we were just holding hands. I think we were just hanging out somewhere on the couch or something. And I looked down, and I was like, "This is the hand that I'm gonna hold for the rest of my life." And it made me smile.
So yeah, as I got to know Alex more, attributes that I saw in her that I really liked were, just her kindness, her gentleness. She was very good with kids. She was very patient. All of that, of course, besides being beautiful, as well as, I always had a lot of fun when I'm around her, and I thought she was really funny. And yeah, I just enjoyed her presence and her company.
All right.
As Kim and I were going, the things that made me want to, or definitely eventually spend the rest of my life with him, were he supported me through everything I ever did, things that ended up not happening, things that did happen, and having that support system, something I've never, aside from my family, that's something that I've never had before, and it's been absolutely fantastic. He's great with his siblings and with mine as well, and it's just, I know that he's going to be a great, husband and father in that way. He just makes me laugh all the time, and it's, yeah.
If I could describe Alex in only 5 words, they would be loving, kind, usually, beautiful, patient, and funny.
So if I could describe Cameron in only 5 words, they would be hardworking, compassionate, handsome, supportive, and funny.
So after about a year of courting, I finally decided, it's time to go ahead and move forward and ask her hand in marriage from her father. So I approached my parents first and asked them if they, thought we were ready and, if they would give their blessing for it, basically. And they did immediately. So the very next day, I approached her dad. We went and had lunch together, and I talked to him about it. And he again was very supportive of it, so he gave me his blessing, and that's basically how it went. It was really pretty simple, although it was pretty nerve-wracking, especially talking to him. Yeah, it went really well, and then so after that, we started planning the engagement. I guess he had talked to your mom, and your mom had talked to you about it, and you had told her a memorable one would be at Disney.
Because it's really special,
At Disney World, under the fireworks in front of the castle. And the whole thing. So I was like, all right, that's what we're gonna do. For Saturday, we're already going, so let's just do it then.
Yeah.
Saturday, I just remember the whole day being like a little nervous, obviously.
Yeah.
But trying to play it cool, because I didn't want you to know. I really wanted it to be a surprise.
Well, because I remember we were sitting in line for Pirates of the Caribbean, and you were just, I don't know what, at the time, obviously, I didn't know what was going on, but you just kind of were standing by yourself, and I tried to hold your hand, and you just weren't doing anything, and I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to put my my headphones in and just not talk to him, because he doesn't want to talk to me right now. I'm kind of mad at you, actually. Obviously, later I found out why,
right.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was coordinating text messages with everyone, coordinating everything. I was trying not to be suspicious though, but I could tell you kind of were a little suspicious because you're always curious about stuff like that.
I am. I'm a nosy person. I'm just a nosy person in general, so it's not a helpful thing in this kind of situation.
Right, but you got especially suspicious when there was a phone mix-up, right?
Yes, I remember. I was just sitting there on my phone, and we were walking, and my mom was with the 2 little ones. And she was sitting somewhere else. Waiting
and Lexi.
And waiting for the fireworks. They got in a good spot. And so we were walking over. Remember, you grabbed my arm violently, and I was like, ouch. I was like, why would you hurt me like that? And you're like, your dad needs your phone. I was like, still no reason to grab me like that. I was so mad. Again, obviously later.
Yeah, there had been a text mix-up between Michael and your mom.
Yeah, mom sent my phone the text.
Right, instead of Michael.
And it would have blown the entire thing. So I'm glad you did.
Yes.
Pull my phone away, but still.
Right. Deleted it, got it back to you.
Yes.
I was like, your mom just needed something. Never mind. So it was about 2 hours before the actual proposal. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty close.
Yeah.
So that's why I grabbed you.
Yes.
So you did it quickly.
Like I said, I'm glad you did.
Yes.
You did. I just remember we were watching the parade, everything was great, and then the fireworks are about to start.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't let me turn around. You're like, let's just look at the castle. I'm like, but I want to go talk to my mom. And you're like, no, let's look at the castle. I'm like, but why? And I needed my phone, and apparently Michael was in range of my phone, back in the buggy trying to catch everything on video. And Lexi's like, I'll get it. And I was like, why? I can go walking on my phone. She's like, no, it's okay. I remember my mom had this angry look, and she's like, why do you keep trying to come back here? I was like, I just want to get my phone.
So she was very suspicious, needless to say, between me taking her phone away, them not letting her go anywhere, me trying to keep her position.
Yeah, because I remember you just like you had your arms on my shoulders and like I couldn't. You're like no, just look at the castle. I'm like, but why?
The fireworks are about to start. You're gonna want to see this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I could tell she was suspicious. So I was like, I gotta do something to throw her off. You know.
It was so bad.
So it was a little mean, I admit.
Wait.
I don't know. Like I think in the back of my head, I was kind of hopeful at any time. To be honest, not trying to be. I was like, okay, we're at Disney, this will be cool. And then, like, most of the day passed. I was like, okay, he's not gonna do it today. That was right around the Pirates of the Caribbean thing. I was like, I got over it myself. I was like, I just want to enjoy the fireworks. It'll be a good time. And then everyone started acting really weird, and I was like, what is going on?
Okay, right. So you were super suspicious of something, or curious at least.
Curious, yeah, like
something was going on.
Yeah.
And I could tell. So I was like. I basically figured out what I was gonna say the night before.
Yeah. Because you told me.
I was like, forget this. I gotta come up with something. And so I had to come up with something to throw her off. I wanted to surprise her still, but she was suspicious. So I had to say something to at least kind of throw her off and not think that I was actually going to propose that night.
So mean, though.
It was. So fireworks start. You know, the song's playing when you wish upon a star.
Yeah.
And just a few minutes in,
you start crying.
I turn you around. Yeah, basically, yeah. I say, basically, we have to end our courtship.
Yeah, and I was just like, because you're crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a terrible time to do this. Why don't you do this now?
Happiest place on earth, fireworks, castle.
I was just like, are you serious right now? Are you
courtship
actually doing
is over. But very quickly after that,
like maybe 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah.
Right. I said, because I want to marry you. And I remember exactly what was going through my head at the time. I was just trying to hold it together because I was very emotional. Yeah. And so yeah, I was just trying to like keep it together, you know, get words out. You know, I was just basically trying to focus on speaking. I remember as you got down on your knee, I was like, no. I just kept saying, I was like, no.
I
know, right? And so yeah, I finally get down and propose.
Yes, yeah, I said yes.
And you did say yes very quickly.
And I hugged you first before you even put the ring on. Like I wouldn't let you put the ring on. I hugged you first.
Yeah, I had to stand up first.
Yeah.
Hug and then put the ring on.
Yes. Yeah.
Happiness from there on out for the rest of the evening. Yep. It was memorable.
It was. It was perfect. Everything I was like, everything makes sense now. The grabbing him from the angsty, standing away from me in line. Just you kind of ignored me a little bit that day. I was a little bit.
I was focused on other things.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like I forgive you for it. It's okay. But like you were kind of like a little distant. I was like, I'm fine. Yeah. And then obviously I hugged him and I turned around and I saw you and I was like, oh my goodness, this whole thing is being. This whole thing. I was like, and then it starts flooding in. I was like, everybody knew about this but me. Just the way it should be. I was really glad. It was just fantastic. I just remember crying a lot, just smiling the entire time. It was wonderful.
I think the thing I'm looking forward to most after we're married is just coming home to you every day, getting to see you as soon as I get home, and get to spend more time with you.
Yes.
Wish I could be with you every second.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to do that, but even when we're married, we're not able to do that every day. But
still.
I get to be with you a lot. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yep. Basically getting to take care of you, to make you breakfast, pack you lunch, and then have the house and dinner ready when you get home, and just being able to be with you. Obviously, you're my best friend. I can be with you all the time. Not all the time, but that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. And then eventually having kids.
Definitely. Yes.
Once our kids are all gone, you have to spend time with old me.
Yes. Getting old together, that's going to be weird, but fun, I think.
I think so. I'm excited.
There'll be problems, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it'll be good, yeah, we'll have each other, so.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
I'm excited just to basically honestly get to spend the rest of my life with you. It's awesome. Kind of daunting, but awesome.
It is.
Yes.
It is. Thank you all so much for coming to our wedding, our big day. We want to just express our gratitude that all of you came out. We just wanted a small wedding, small ceremony where the ones that are closest to us were there with us, those who have supported us throughout our lives. So we just are so grateful that all of you decided to come out. Hope you had a great time. Hope that the Lord was honored in all of it. And